What's up, guys? It's Cinema Headz crew here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Netflix original How It Ended, starring, what is his name? Theo James. What's the other guy's name?
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker.
He's Academy Award winning. Academy Award winner.
And it was directed by David M.
Rosenthal.
There you go.
You got it.
My name is Jonathan, and today joining me, we got...
JP.
Met. Adrian.
Gabe.
Let's do this. Let's get it. So how we're going to do this, so we're all going to do our own little session review of it. Starting with JP and then down.
So good.
What'd you think of the movie?
There was only one good thing about the movie, and that was Forrest Whitaker. Everything else was terrible. So if you want to see a movie with him in it because he's a good actor, then you can watch this movie. But that's it. This movie sucks.
Straight out the gate. Your opinion,
I want to say a whole lot more about it, but I might wait until you guys give your opinions first, and then we start discussing it. But yeah, this is a terrible movie.
All right.
Give a quick little thing.
What did you think, Matt?
Let me tell you what I thought about this movie is that it was a slap in my face.
Oh, wow.
That we sat there and we waited and then we got what we got, and it looked like they made the movie to force a sequel on us because that's apparently how we make money. I like Theo James, and I thought Theo James was another reason to watch it, as well as Forrest Whitaker. Great actors. But other than that, this movie was trash.
There you go. That's good.
You want to go?
You're next.
That movie was complete and utter shit.
Nope.
What is his name?
Theo
Forrest Whitaker. I'm agreeing with Matt and JP. He was probably the best thing about the movie. You wait and you wait and you wait, and that's all you get. That's all. It's just a bunch of waiting. That's my opinion.
The movie should have been called Waiting.
You should have, because that movie was
No,
garbage.
Waiting was actually a good
Waiting
movie.
was a good movie.
That's true.
All right, well, there's that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Like it really was bad. When you look at who directed it, if you go back and look at other films he directed, nothing to even mention. So I guess I'm not really surprised the movie was so bad because the director really hasn't done anything noteworthy. And like everyone, Forrest Whitaker is literally the only reason to watch it. And even with that, I mean, it still might not be worth watching.
What you got, Gabe?
All right.
What you got?
All right. So I think one of the big reasons why it failed is because it failed to explain a plot.
Yeah.
It starts off, obviously you kind of get character bases of like relationships that the family doesn't like him. Well, the dad,
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker, doesn't like Theo. The mom doesn't really mind him so much, and then he's out of state where the girl is his fiance.
Well, because he's
Pregnant
going to
fiance.
visit his fiance because he wants to, or visit the parents.
Because he wants to ask for their
them if he
permission.
can marry
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
So then you kind of get already a character development right there, and then he goes to, I guess he sleeps in. He's going to his flight. He goes to the airport. Everything gets canceled. Something happens with his girl at home, so then it causes this big panic on the West Coast.
Big ripple effect.
Yeah. So then he goes back to the parents' house to see if they know what's going on, and then Forrest Whitaker, eyeball, actually takes him with him to go travel across, 4 states to go get the daughter back to make sure she's okay. During that time period of them traveling, they encounter probably more issues with human beings than they do the actual
whatever it is that's
cause
going on.
of what
Yeah.
the movie's about.
It never
which
shows
never
you what it
explains
is. Yeah.
They hinted it might be like a giant earthquake. It could be some kind of natural disaster. It
Extraterrestrials.
could be like a nuclear bomb, but they never really say what it is that happened.
No, it's not a nuclear bomb. It is not.
It could be a simulation, guys.
Yeah.
A simulation.
The whole point of that whole, well, besides all that, then they make it all the way through. Since it is a review, obviously it's spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert!
Eyeball Forrest Whitaker dies. After that, Theo goes on his own, ends up finding his girl, who's got helped by their neighbor in their apartment complex, which you don't know anything about. He's extremely creepy, and it seems like he wants to be the one to date her. So they, even though Theo tells him, like, you know, she's pregnant, you don't, you know, like, what's going on, he still tries to kill Theo. Theo kills him, and then him and his girl drive off into the sunset with a big, like, a big explosion happening behind them, but it never shows, and then it just stops.
Just goes
and then they continue to drive, so it looks like whatever they're trying to run away from just stops, so they make it through. But as these guys said, the reason why it was complete utter shite is because it doesn't explain anything at all.
I think the movie's called How It Ends because you have to make up your own ending because nobody knows how it ends.
See, there's notable movies that make you decide what you think the ending is. I mean, Inception, like, you know what I'm saying? But that, of course, that's a big budget, you know, huge movie, and this is Netflix original, but this one, at least, it could have maybe explained something at the end with text. You didn't even have to show more footage because, like, obviously the acting was completely anyway. So
Inception
really
gives you a lot of plot and a lot of story to build off of. This movie gives you absolutely nothing. And the entire build of the movie, they run into different characters that come and go into the movie, but none of them, it's like, why are they even in the story? Because they don't make a difference to the storyline at all. And then during the whole time when the main character is traveling with the dad, the story is pretty intense and pretty, like, well thought out, and it's actually not too terrible. But then once the dad dies, everything is really rushed. It goes completely downhill. You have no sense of what's going on at all.
It was almost like they had a budget for Forrest Whitaker. And once he died, and they were like, okay, we drained all our budget, like, let's finish the movie. And it just like completely like railed into an ending that didn't matter.
So a couple of things that I had, you know, there was a couple parts where you're watching this movie and it is kind of a tearjerker and it makes you think, you know, what would you do in this situation? You know, a lot of us here are kids and wives and girlfriends and stuff. And there was a couple times where I was like, wow, this is, you know, it's a good, what would I do in that situation? Now, the one scene, I guess that's what you want to call it, the Road Warrior scene on the bridge, drove me up a wall, because this guy, you give him a gun, he can't even load a gun, but then they give him a perfect drift, a perfect sideways drift for Forrest Whitaker to lean out that window, shoot one bullet, and then blow up an entire Jeep. I mean, it was horrible. That scene right there. As soon as I saw that scene, I said, "This is garbage."
Wow, you watched a lot of it to get to that scene. It needs to go away.
So this is 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. 20% with the exact same things that we have stated, that Forrest Whitaker is 100% of this movie. And this guy is a lawyer who apparently is the greatest NASCAR driver in history.
So, but to piggyback off of what Matt said, like you said, we all got families and everything. It's the actor's job to make us feel like, man, like if that was me, this is how it would feel. Theo James does none of that at all. He showed more emotion with random things happening on the way to get to his fiancée, his pregnant fiancée. He showed more emotion with other things going on that was stopping him from getting to her. Then when he finally gets to her, it's like it doesn't matter. There's no emotion. He shows me like no emotion through the whole film, really. And it's like he cared more about other stuff than he did his own fiancée. So the whole time I'm like, there's like this big disconnect because he didn't make me feel anything at all.
He wasn't invested in the movie. You could tell he didn't care about the character, and he kind of phoned in his
which bothers me because like I really thought, besides, because Forrest Whitaker is good regardless. Like I enjoy him in any movie he's ever done. Theo though, like I thought Divergent series was complete crap, but him. He was the only good thing about those movies because his character was really good.
Right.
And he, like JP said, he invested time in that character and really delved into what that character was supposed to mean to the story. And this one, it was just kind of like, hey, I got paid for Netflix. Like, I'm just going to do a movie. And it was kind of
the movie seemed, if there's no sequel, it seemed incomplete.
Yes.
Like they
completely.
finished it, and it was like the director's like, okay, I don't know where we're going with this. We're just gonna end it here. Like that's how it felt.
And if it's just me, please let me know. But for a good half the movie, I was trying to figure out if the rookie or Sam or whatever her name was a guy or a girl. The mechanic.
Oh wow,
I could not figure out.
It was a girl.
To save my life. Yeah, we knew that once she took her shirt off, but before that,
Well, and then she
I
like
thought it was a boy.
bounced.
Yeah,
and
she
then like
just-
never to be heard
Well,
of from
that's
again.
what I mean, though. Like, why was she even in the
Yeah.
movie at all? Because they bring her into the group, so there's 3 of them traveling together, and then there's this big scene where she kills these 3 guys, which she doesn't really kill them, but she freaks out about it, and then she just runs away from the group, and she had no impact on the story at all. Had nothing to do with anything that's going on.
No, totally
she just
agree,
kind of
yeah.
shows up
I mean-
and then leaves, and for no reason.
And then every time they have to get gas, they never show anybody getting gas, and then they always just
siphon it
magically
in
have
there,
gas.
2 tanks
I
full of
siphoned
gas.
it in less than 5 seconds. It
Yeah.
takes literally more than that to siphon it.
Yeah, that's why Eyeball was like, I told you to get gas, and she was like, I already got gas.
yeah.
Dude,
Like, I
whole
think-
jug.
I think but as far as like the catastrophe that happens, I think like when they finally got to the girlfriend and like the guy was like explaining to him like, look, like I've done simulators and this is kind of how it is. I think literally he was saying that a bomb went off on the west side and it completely like took out cell phones and everything, and pretty much like an atomic bomb. And I think that was like what the catastrophe was. But again, it doesn't explain it. It doesn't say anything. And then like, why did it happen once and then towards the end of the movie it started happening again?
Yeah.
It doesn't explain shit. And it
Well-
kind of, that's the whole point of a movie.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about it too is the movie had potential to be good because the story is something you can build on, and it's something that we can relate to with today's society because an earthquake or a nuclear attack could happen at any time, and it's kind of like what we would do if we were in those situations. But they don't take you anywhere on the journey through the movie.
Well, unless it's one of you guys, I'm not going to stop and pick up a stranger.
No,
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
It really bothered me about the whole when the neighbor's explaining the whole it was a simulation or whatever, he's a simulator. What bothered me was that Theo exploded out of
nowhere. Like,
that is not what it is.
No.
it was like
The
they
most
told him the whole,
emotion
yeah, like the
that
whole
he
movie.
had.
They were like, "Dude, you didn't act well."
Yeah.
And then he was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna give it everything this."
Yeah.
It was like a 5-second scene of him
Right.
screaming,
Exactly.
and then the girlfriend's just like,
Yeah.
like out of leave, not helping in any
And she
way,
like didn't care that there was that weird relationship with the other guy. Like,
So
I was like, "What happened? I had to kill him." Okay, let's go.
Exactly.
Like,
I was really hoping that when they started making whoopee, that neighbor would just kind of pop in and be like, I like what's going on here.
I'm surprised that didn't happen. That
This
would've
is
made it
not
more
a
interesting.
simulation.
So weird.
Nothing,
Yeah, they
man.
could have done that, and then that could have been the reason why I killed him.
Yeah.
Instead of just,
Yeah.
nope.
but there's like no story developing why he was creepy and like why he wanted the girl.
He just came out of nowhere.
Like it just came out of nowhere, and then like you automatically knew what was gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
that he was gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Like you automatically knew it.
As soon
and it
as
was
the
like,
guy-
you had no surprises.
As soon as the guy checked the gun and saw no bullets, I was like, he has one in the chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill him because there's one in the chamber still.
Yeah, like
Was that why he was like in his car messing around it early in the morning?
He
Or
was
did
making
it-
sure that no other bullets. were
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
He was making sure that he couldn't have loaded it overnight or anything like that. He was checking for that.
Okay.
so again, my review of it was complete utter shit.
Yeah.
So real quick, I think that what happened is the guy was onto something, that it was a nuclear bomb that happened, but it took the Earth off its axis, and it's rotating towards the sun. That's why everything's getting hot. And then at that cabin scene when they look up, you see the lights from Alaska, the aurora borealis, because the Earth it's rotating.
That makes
towards
actually
the
perfect
sun.
sense.
That's what
Yeah.
I came up with during that. But other than that, since they don't tell it to you, it's trash.
Let's go with that. That was good.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that was more than I thought.
So if you're wondering why it's happening, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the best explanation.
Matt has a good
Mac
explanation.
and
That was
Wikipedia.
good. Yeah.
Give
We
you a
go
whole,
Wikipedia.
a whole page of it. by
But I'd
itself.
say since we all wasted our time watching it for you, don't waste
Don't
your
waste
time.
your time.
because,
Don't waste it. It's
Horrible.
I
Unless
would
you
not-
love Forrest Whitaker and that's your boy.
Nah.
I
It
think
wasn't
the
still
Cinema Heads crew gave it a 0.
a
Yeah,
0.
0 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, what time is it? Is it time?
Come on. No, but maybe this video's boom. How does it end?
That was good. So perfect.
Whoa, the video's over already? Well, if you want to see more, why don't you click that notification button and that subscribe button. And if you really liked it, give us a thumbs up.
Cut.